Welcome to a Black Talk Radio News Brief. My name is Scotty Reed. We're going to take a look at a story that's coming to us out of Florida. You have this sheriff, and he happens to be black, who is doing his best David Clark imitation. If y'all remember the cowboy hat wearing David Clark, who used to be the sheriff in Milwaukee, Minnesota, and he was hoping to get a job with the Trump administration, but I don't know what happened there. What happened there, Mr. Clark? You couldn't pass a background checker or something. And of course, you know, his department was under a number of investigations, including a person who died in the jail who was denied water for several days. And David Clark ended up resigning that position. And I don't know what he's doing now. I don't know what his grifting has led to. So anyway, but we got a David Clark wannabe coming out of Florida who is threatening to deputize gun owners in the county if violent protests come to his town or his county. Let's go ahead and take a look at this man. This man, again, is a sheriff down in Clay County, Florida. His name is Daryl Daniels. And again, he's issuing threats that he will deputize all gun owners in the county if him and his deputies cannot deal with protests that get violent. Now, granted, as I was doing my research, there's been no protest in Clay County. There are no scheduled protests in Clay County. And basically what he's doing is looking at the media, as he mentions in his little press conference, and flanked by all his deputies as he issues these threats towards the citizens, but he's watching television. He's watching probably Fox News and some of these other right-wing outlets about Antifa and all these people from Black Lives Matter coming from out of town and doing this and that. And a lot of times it is the people who live in those counties and cities. So what if someone comes from out of town to stand in solidarity? They are U.S. citizens too. And the last time I checked, we had freedom of movement in the United States. I mean, I hate to hit you off with this garbage, but let's take a listen to what this man, you know what? Yeah, let's take a listen.
The men and women in the Clay County Sheriff's Office, but just want to weigh in on what we're seeing going on, played out across the media or mainstream media in this country. Look, folks, don't fall victim to subjecting yourselves to this conversation that law enforcement is bad, that law enforcement is the enemy of the citizens that we're sworn to protect and serve. We swore an oath. And in that oath, we swore to support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the government. And that we're duly qualified under the state's Constitution to hold office. That is, for me as a sheriff, for these men and women as deputy sheriffs, and we end that with, so help me God. But God is absent from the media's message or Black Lives Matter or any other group out there that's making themselves a spectacle, disrupting what we know to be our quality of life in this country. In Clay County, we have a great quality of life. We have a great relationship with our community. But across this country, not so much. I just wanted to take a stand with these men and with these women who feel the same way that I do. Lawlessness, that's unacceptable in this country. Lawlessness, that's unacceptable in Clay County. And if you threaten to come to Clay County and think that for 1 second that we'll bend our backs for you, you're sadly mistaken. I know what happens when lawlessness prevails. And in this day and time, God is raising up men and women, just like the folks you see standing behind me, who will have strong backbones and will stand in the gap between lawlessness and the good citizenry that we're sworn to protect and serve. So you can threaten all you want. You can say, hey, let's go to Clay County, or let's go to some other peaceful county where their problems don't exist, or not so much like across this country, where relationships are great and not strained, and where the people support their sheriff and support the men and women who wear the uniform. And you'll have something waiting on you that you don't want. Yes, we'll protect your constitutional rights as long as you remain under the umbrella of peaceful protest or peaceful march. But the second that you step out from up under the protection of the Constitution, we'll be waiting on you. And we'll give you everything you want. All the publicity, all the pain, all the glamour and glory for all that 5 minutes will give you. Is it a threat? Absolutely not. But somebody has to step up in front of the camera and say, enough is enough. Tearing up Clay County, that's not going to be acceptable. And if we can't handle you, you know what I'll do? I'll exercise the power and authority as the sheriff, and I'll make special deputies of every lawful gun owner in this county. And I'll deputize them for this one purpose, to stand in the gap between lawlessness and civility. That's what we're sworn to do, and that's what we're gonna do. You've been warned.
What a freaking clown. What a clown, man. This guy's a straight up thug. Yes, I said it. He's a straight up thug. Now, let me say this about Gaston County, where we've been having protests and marches and demonstrations and what have you. And I have said to, like, my daughter and some of the other people that I've been speaking to, we don't have the issues of police brutality, just straight up murdering people like we see in some of these counties. But guess what? We don't want it to get that way either. We do have some issues in the county that need to be addressed. But I have to say, you know, for the Mount Holly police, they rolled out the red carpet for us. I can't speak on the Gastonia police, but the Gaston County police, they ain't been bothering nobody. The sheriff's, the sheriff's department, Gaston County Sheriff's Department, they out there probably just happy to have all this overtime standing guard over that Confederate monument. And we're going to keep coming out there every day. And if Tracy Fieldbeck wants to spend up the Gaston County Commissioner's budget, whatever that budget is, on paying overtime just to keep this monument up, then, you know, that's on him, because we're going to be out there every day. We're going to be out there every day that we possibly can. And that statue's coming down one way or the other. Now, this guy is saying that they ain't having no protests there. They ain't having no issues there. So why is he issuing this threat? How much money did he spend to have this little video made with the little background music, and then got his deputies standing back there like they all tough? And, you know, he got on his bulletproof vest, making his chest seem all puffed out. I mean, this guy's a straight up thug. Now, guess what? He's under criminal investigation. He won't talk about law and order. Let's take a look at this other story that just came out 11 hours ago. All right. This thug, this straight up thug. So here you have from First Coast News, a criminal investigation into Clay County Sheriff's dealing now in the hands of the prosecutor. So possibly he made this video to distract from the fact that he's under a criminal investigation that just been concluded, and he could be indicted on criminal charges. So let me distract people and, you know, make this video and issue threats to people that not even there in the county based off of him watching too much Fox News. I tell you, man, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement has completed its initial report following a year-long investigation into Sheriff Darrell Daniels. First Coast News has learned from multiple law enforcement sources that the Florida Department of Law Enforcement has completed its initial report into misconduct allegations against Clay's top cop. The report is now in the possession of the 4th District State Attorney's Office, which must review and make recommendations, and FDLE spokesman confirmed. Now, what is he under investigation for? The investigation was sparked in May of 2019 after Daniels called 911 on his quote unquote lover of 6 years, whom he accused of stalking, and asked his own officers to place her under arrest. Sierra Smith was arrested and detained for 6 hours, but not jailed after an assistant state attorney found there was no probable cause to book her. So here this thug had his minions to detain his girlfriend, his lover, his mistress, whatever she is, to him to illegally detain her and violate her constitutional rights. And this thug got the nerve to be talking about he swore an oath to uphold the Constitution, and the rest of them deputies that held this woman for 6 hours in an illegal detention. It later emerged that Daniels began his affair with Smith when he was her direct supervisor at the Duval County Jail. So there you got it. There you got inappropriate sexual behavior on the job. I don't know who initiated, you know, the relationship and the flirting and all of that, but it occurred, and it falls on him as her supervisor to act appropriately, but he did not, okay? And so since they call it saying it was an affair, he must be married. He must be married. How can you have an affair if you're not married to someone? So yeah, that's this thug down here. Take a look at him. This is the thug that's issuing threats, that is under a criminal investigation, and he want to talk about lawlessness. Give me a break, man. Where do they find these clowns at? Cowboy hat wearing clown is what he is, man. I thought they broke the mold when they made Sheriff, former Sheriff or ex-Sheriff David A. Clark. Man, I tell you. All right, this has been Scotty Reed with a Black Talk Radio News Brief. Please continue to support the production of independent media. Make a donation today to the nonprofit Black Talk Media Project based here in North Carolina. Peace.